Today we're going to adjust the valves on this R100 RT. These are the tools you'll need. There we go. Valve covers are held on by 3 nuts. There's one buried up here under the exhaust. There is another one on top by the carb. Use a 10mm wrench and a magnet. Have a magnet handy as you're unscrewing the nut so you don't lose it. We have already loosened these to reduce the time on this video and save me some fucking time editing. After that, you'll grab a 13mm socket and a drain pan. You will find oil in these covers, so I'll put something underneath before you pull the cover off. Just a gentle little tap. And the only reason we have to tap these is because somebody frickin' put silicone on and glued these things in place. So we will be replacing the gaskets. You do not need silicone on these. You'll frequently have 2 washers on that center nut. One should be a wave, one should be a standard. This has 2 wave washers. Not a big deal. Same on these that go on the ends of the valve cover. Should be a flat washer, a wave washer, and then the nut. Do you need them all? No. You're going to remove the spark plug, which we've already loosened. Inspect your spark plug, see what it looks like. It should be, BMWs generally run on the lean side, so you're going to be light brown to white. This one's a little bit black, which means it ran with the choke on for a little bit too long. Some will say to retorque these cylinder heads all the time. I'm okay with that if you just take the torque wrench, set it, and tighten it. To loosen these and tighten them every time, I think you're just you're creating more of a risk of a blown head gasket, stripped stud. So I don't bother. We'll generally set your torque wrench 40 Newton meters. Holy crap. Somebody left that loose. Oh, that's not good. That's not loose, it's stripped. Ah, fuck me. Why do people do that? That's one of the risks you get from loosening these, torquing them every fucking time you adjust the valves. That's not good. Anyway, to continue with this tutorial, you're going to turn the engine over. The best way to do this, place the bike in top gear, rear wheel off the ground, spark plugs out, both cylinders obviously. Are we at TDC? Which side are we at TDC?
That side.
I have to leave it. And you're looking for a mark in the window. It says OT. It's not going to show up in this video, unfortunately. OT. Put OT in the center of the window. To adjust, the next thing you're going to do is adjust your rocker arm end play. Sean, you want to wiggle that up and down? You're looking for just a little bit of evidence of oil being pushed out. Well, we can see it here. That's enough end play. More than that ends up creating a really noisy engine, just a lot of valve clatter. So these are okay. We actually don't have to adjust these. Do the valve clearance, and then we're going to spin this over and we'll do this other side. Our valve clearances are adjusted on the right side. We are now going to rotate this engine over 360 degrees to do the left side. As I said, top gear, spark plugs out, just keep pumping the engine over, flashlight in the window, checking for OT. You'll get an F before OT. Yeah, keep going. You should have a long ways to go.
I'm right there.
Okay, so we are now at top dead center. We have the OT in the window. Check your end play. Again, we're good. And we're good. Now that sort of defeats the purpose of this video, because I was making it for someone who requested a video on adjusting the end play. So Sean's going to go ahead and adjust the valves right now, and then we'll do the end play afterwards just to show how it's done. You have 0.10 millimeter intake clearance, 0.20 millimeter exhaust clearance. These are actually pretty damn good. They're a little on the loose side. You remember, all airhead valves tighten up with use. Unlike oil heads will loosen up. Airheads tighten up, so it is very, very important to check your valve clearance. If it's a new bike to you, check them every 3,500 miles. And after 2 or 3 times of checking them, you'll be able to figure out how many miles it is between adjustments before they start getting tight. You know, you might be able to go 5,000, maybe even 6,000 miles. And to do this, you need 2 12mm wrenches. Sean's left hand is working the lock nut. His right hand is holding the adjuster, which we'll show more in a minute when we do the intake side. That's good. You're good. Here is the adjusting nut. There is the lock nut. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Those are good. To adjust this, to loosen it, you would hold this in place with one wrench and loosen this nut. Then you can turn this to adjust your clearance. Once you get the clearance set where you want, hold it in place with one wrench, tighten with the other wrench, still checking your clearance to make sure nothing has moved. If you need to adjust the rocker arm end play, it's either too tight or too loose. What you need, a couple of sockets that will fit around that pin. You need a clamp. Now let's say the rocker is too loose. You're going to loosen one cylinder head nut, just one. Then you're going to crank this, compress this till you get to the clearance you like. which probably is going to be none, and then you're going to torque the one nut that you loosened. Then you're going to disassemble this, and check it for clearance. If you can't see a little bit of that oil being squished out, it's too tight. If it's sloppy and you can move it up and down and it goes clunk, 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 way too loose. You're going to find that it can be a pain in the butt to do. It's going to be, you think it's going to be perfect, and then you're going to torque it, and then it's going to be too tight, or you're going to torque it and it's going to be too loose. You got to just keep making minor adjustments in small increments until you finally get it to where it's right. Practice makes perfect. Nobody's born knowing this stuff. It's just experience. So the more you do it, the easier it'll become, and eventually you'll get to the point where you can retorque your heads, adjust your rocker arm in play, adjust your valve clearance, synchronize your carburetors and everything, and it's out the door in under an hour. Good luck. I hope this was informative.